Welcome to another episode of Diggity, a video game podcast. I'm Jeff James. With me is Brody Faults. The luscious Brody Faults, might I add. As always, what's going on now that we don't have the technical difficulties? Holy shit. Thank you, by the way, in the chat for telling us. Thank you.
We appreciate
We're changing
you, Nick.
things up a bit. We've got a new, fresh look. Not right now live, but you might notice like our logos are going to change. Our podcast artwork has changed. No, that's not spam. No, it's not like, what was it, like 7 years ago when everyone got the U2 album on their iPhone. It is indeed us. Our thing has changed. We're looking for a fresher look, and we're changing the podcast up a little bit where, fuck it, you explain it. You go for it.
So the general concept is we want to kind of breathe a little bit of life into Diggity. We've been doing this for 3 years now, and it's time for a little bit of a new chapter. We've tried various different things over the years, and one of the things we kind of want to do is make the show a little bit more freeform, where we can sit down and have a good conversation about something and not be directly tied to the news. I mean, we have a lot more fun when we do things like that. It's much more enjoyable for us, and I assume it's much more enjoyable for our listeners. I hope so. We got some mixed reactions to a poll, but most people were very fond of the topic episodes that we've done in the past, and we just kind of want to venture more in that way. I mean, we're not going to get away from news entirely. It will be still a part of what we do and what we will occasionally venture back into, and some of it may come in more of a short form video that will come out on YouTube. But as far as the podcast goes going forward, I think we're just going to focus on creating good gaming content. It's not necessarily going to be like top 5 lists or anything like that. We're just going to have fun with it. We're going to put out some interesting things and kind of bounce around between, what we want to really do with this. And it'll be a little bit of a learning curve, but yeah, like as Jeff said, we're going to be rolling out some new logos, some new artwork, some just new interesting content. We're really excited for it. I mean, it's again 3 years in the making, and I think it's time that we kind of
we gotta go heavy on YouTube. That's our thing. So
yeah,
we're gonna go heavy.
YouTube is going to be pivotal,
and new video content, and we're just gonna have a blast doing it. So no more nonchalant conversations, more guests hanging out, discussing rumors and news, obviously, as always, like we always have in super blunt ways. And talking about great topics and subjects. So with that, let's go. New stickers. We should do that. With that, you wanna get us going with our topic for today?
Yeah.
And then where the hell this road leads us?
To kick this all off, we wanted to kind of start with an interesting topic, something that I feel like we're going to come from different areas on this. So basically, what makes a good video game character? What is that catalyst that makes a character stick with people forever? And takes a character like a Mario or a very iconic character, but what is that determining factor? What propels that character into the stardom? I mean, you have so many iconic characters like Pikachu, you have Kratos, you have Mario, you have Link. I named a bunch of Nintendo characters because they're so iconic, but you have right. But yeah, I'll let you kind of kick this off here, buddy, and I'll kind of tie into things as you talk about them and add my own points. So,
well, I think there's like different tiers, right, of character. Is that right to say? Like, I mean, you take like a Mario, right, versus like a Sora, right, and it's like that. I mean, that's very different.
Oh, that's fighting words for some people.
I mean, there's a lot more depth, right, to a Sora.
Yeah. Right.
I think at the base of it all is I don't think it's relatability at all. I think it's the exact opposite. I think it's like I think the best characters are the ones that are not outlandish per se, but are so like either out there in terms of their lives or their abilities or what they do. That's what makes people attach to them. I don't think video games has the same way as movies where people want to attach to what is the music still playing or no? Are we good? We're good.
I think
right?
we're good.
Okay, we're good.
Yeah, we're
Perfect. Good. Thank God. I think in movies, like you'll have like a character in it where people can relate to it. I don't know. I don't know many video game characters that people can relate to in many ways. And I think just like outlandish or like feeling for a character is like something that happens the odd time here and there. So I think just having like unreal abilities or like some crazy life that they live, I think is the first thing that comes to mind. And Mario doesn't really fit into that realm. I think Mario is just such a basic idea in the presence that there's just a character that moves. I mean, really, you just control Mario. Yeah. There's not really a mass amount of lore to Mario. I mean, you are simply controlling Mario, and Mario is doing things, right, in the capacity of Mario games. So I think that's
Mario is essentially a catalyst just to push forward a platformer.
Yeah, well, not even just platformers, right? Like any Mario game, right? So like, hey, I'm golfing. Yeah. I just happen to be Mario.
Right.
Like I'm not adding to the lore of Mario.
Right, but I mean, also there's no way there would be like a Mario golf game if it wasn't so successful, with the original platformers and things like that.
So like when I think of that, like when I think of a super outlandish character, something like Trevor from GTA, right? Just batshit insane, right? Crazy life, crazy backstory. You're following them through the game. You're doing ridiculous things as a human being. And that's making an incredible character because it's just so outlandish. It's so out there, but it's also in some aspect still believable of a reality, right? That it would make it good. Yeah, I think you would pool like Sonic, Mario.
A lot of those early characters.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing, right? Is like when they had, they were pixels.
Yeah.
What can you do, right? There wasn't. I mean, you could do some text, and there was some lore to the text and stuff like that, but you were kind of held back from doing anything, and somehow, I mean, not somehow, but I mean, I guess just keeping it simple and stupid, it stood the test of time clearly because I would say Mario's more popular than ever before. Nintendo as a whole, I think, is more popular than ever before. And most Nintendo characters are all, the same and
simple. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Link has a lot of lore to it, obviously, but
right.
Do you connect with
It's Link? Also convoluted as shit.
Yes, correct. It moves around a lot.
Right.
You might get some hate for that, but boy, it moves around a lot. There's a lot of
wild
room for the lore.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, they were hesitant to ever put out like an official timeline, and then they put out that book. It was a few years back, and like they put this timeline in there, and it is batshit insane.
Dude, still to
it's crazy.
The best timeline is Screw Attack's timeline that they did on YouTube. They did a series, and that is like the best Zelda timeline to date. I mean, now it's out of date because it's missing some Zelda games in it that have since come out, and Screw Attack is also gone now.
Right.
But it's right. Screw Attack shut down like a couple years ago, right? I think so. I don't know. I could be wrong.
Yeah. They came back for a short period and then left. Yeah, I think it's gone right now. But anyway.
So it's, I mean, that game is interesting. I mean, like you said, they got caught. They're like, whoa, hold on. You want a timeline of this? We were just making these.
We didn't do that. We just made games.
We were just making these games, dude.
Right.
Oh, shit.
I need to preface this. I love Mario games, and I enjoy Mario as a character.
Yeah, me too.
I do not think Mario is actually a good video game character.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think he is...
like the Band-Aid?
If somebody were to make a game that looked like Mario, like even if it was, Odyssey-esque, and 3D, if somebody were to make that game today, I don't think it would do well. You look at a game like Super Lucky's Tale
Mm-hmm.
is never going to hit the success that Mario is.
No.
I think Mario is that perfect example of a character we love because of nostalgia. Plus, the games are fucking awesome.
So you
But
think he's successful because first to market, essentially?
I feel like he's successful because he's first. I mean, for God's sake,
talk about
he's
him
a
as a real
plumber that
person.
doesn't even plumb. Great video game character, but he's tied to this nostalgia and this first to market type of situation that he is recognizable as a great character because of that. But inherently, like, it's a platforming game. He's a plumber who saves a princess, and he's never plumbed anything in his entire fucking life. And, like, it's just this weird, it's this odd concept that really doesn't actually make any sense, and it doesn't tell a story other than Bowser takes Peach again, and you got to go through various different castles to get to her, and the princess is not in this castle type of thing, you know. But I don't really think that there's anything that makes Mario a good character. There's no there's no growth. There's no anything that actually to me would create a character that I would love and could relate to and actually have a connection to type of thing. I think it's very much this. Again, love Mario games before somebody gets fucking pissed off about this, but it's just it's a weird concept if you like sit back and actually think about
No, it is. It's
what
constrained
Mario is.
because it was built under constraints. I mean, I'll raise another point. Luigi is a taller Mario wearing green. Due to constraints, making a co-op, icon essentially and sprite for you to play it with on the screen, we could not, hey, we can't use another Mario because people are gonna, be confused by him. What do we do? Let's make his shit green. All right.
Make him slightly taller and green.
What purpose does he serve now? Now, when we contest, may I point you in the direction of Luigi's mansion? Okay.
Yeah.
He's got a vacuum and ghosts.
I feel like that's a trapping that Nintendo falls into in a lot of their games. I mean, even Link, he doesn't talk. He doesn't talk at all. There is virtually very little world building actually going on. Yeah. With Link, there's like nothing, right? The world is built around Link, and Link is just the player. The player is just venturing through this. There's no talking. There's no like crazy like character. Some of the games there's some character growth type shit, again, massive Zelda fan. I have Link tattooed on me, but from a standpoint of what I would think would actually make a good character, I don't know if Link would fit it. Now, you have like a really awesome story like with Ganondorf and Zelda and Link, and how all the world is built. Cool. The world is built around him. I think functions very well, but Link is a blank slate. I mean, he's just again a catalyst. That's all he is. He is the producer or the. I was reading the comment as I was talking. He is just the way for the player to get from point A to point B. And it's very interesting to like look at these games that we've, put up on pedestals and these characters that are so iconic and create such an important world and to like Slippy. But I mean, like you look at like Pokemon has had an anime that has gone alongside it for years.
Yes, that's great.
Now
that's a big deal. Yeah.
But in the game,
the game
nothing
does
going
not
on.
Apply to the anime in
no
nearly
all
any
of the
fashion.
backstory. Yeah, all of the backstory and the creation of the love for Pikachu and like Ash's character has been built up in a entirely different genre of entertainment.
Right. Yeah. Well, and in most instances too, in some cases the show was written after the game was developed.
Right.
So that it played a bit, but I mean, my God, not a lot. Not a lot. Beyond Zelda, like the Legend of Zelda and Link, is there anyone else Nintendo-wise that has like in-depth lore to it? Or like, I guess the biggest extent is Link and Legend of Zelda.
Samus?
Yeah,
there's
some
good lore there.
Is there though? Because No, is there like as
quite a
a
bit.
big of a developed character though? Because of the fact that, like, obviously, again, it came out with constraints against the character, right?
Yeah.
The technology, and then they built a couple games, built some very, very, very popular games. They built a game on GameCube, and then they went fucking dead
Yeah.
for a very
Well,
long
I mean,
time.
there's-
And now we have Dread, which is great, but I mean, it's an arcade Metroid style game.
There's a lot of, from what I'm hearing, there's actually a lot of callbacks to like past lore. Like there is actually a pretty in-depth lore between Prime and then the main Metroid series.
Yeah.
So I would say out of Nintendo's IP, I would say that's one of the biggest ones that
Okay, so
actually has like character
Metroid
growth and
Legend of Zelda. Anything else?
Star Fox has some lore. It's probably a little thin, I would
don't
imagine.
know. But I'd also it's pretty thin, and it's also super like arcadey actiony style. Like I don't think it invokes an incredible quest or story like you have in
Right.
like, The Legend of Zelda.
I mean Star
it's-
Fox Adventures, man.
The chicken walker, dude.
Oh my god.
What a
what
mess.
a fucking
What a
mess.
disaster. That's the same year with Nintendo Labo, which is Labo dead?
I think so.
Has
I haven't seen anything new on that for a while.
Statement on that, or like anybody?
I haven't seen anything in
I mean,
probably
in
a
it-
year and a half
it's
for
not
Labo.
hard to get cardboard, so it's not a supply
No,
chain
it's not.
issue.
That one's not one of the few things affected by the world right now,
Right.
or not affected. Sorry.
No, it's. I guess that's it, really, for Nintendo.
Yeah,
Now for
and then
Sega,
yeah,
I mean,
Sonic.
God, ugh.
Sega's always kind of been one of those weird ones that, I mean, I don't know.
Here's
yeah,
the thing, though. They didn't have as many constraints technology-wise for Sonic. I mean, I guess they did. In some
they
fashion
came
in
out a little bit
16-bit
later, so
and 32-bit eras. But,
Yeah.
I mean,
but even then, I mean, with like Sonic, I'm sure
TV
there's some
series?
sort of I'm sure there's some sort of lore behind Sonic, but it's kind of you're going through these worlds and saving animals. Like, I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of
bunnies.
yeah. Like I don't know. Like that's another one that I feel like so many games and so many characters from early times in games were just very simple for the sake of what their restraints were, like you were saying, where I feel like so many of these characters, like if they were made today, nobody would give a shit.
No,
Like
they wouldn't.
they just wouldn't, because we have games like, I'm not a fan of it, but The Last of Us, that has this very invoking story and that has this, very thought out two games that
Yeah.
build this incredible world and make these characters like grow and show so much emotion over the course of crazy fucking shit going on. And so that's where it's like some of these games just don't hold up, but they're fucking great games. I mean,
Yeah.
Super Mario Odyssey, I couldn't put that game down when I played through it.
Oh, I know,
And
yeah.
I mean, you literally turn into things you throw a hat onto.
Frog, man.
Like you could turn
Crazy.
into a giant T-Rex and walk around this world, and but nobody bats an eye at it just because it's Mario. They can get away with it,
Pass,
but
yeah, a little bit of a pass.
yeah, I feel like that. I knew this would be kind of a weird topic because it ventures into a lot of things outside of what, like, even just what a good character is, like what even makes a good game at that point. But on the character side of things, like what to you today when you play a game, what makes you fall in love with a character? What makes you look at a character and be like, that's a great character? What do they do to make that character stand out?
I was gonna ask you, which is, I mean, I'll answer my own question, but I was gonna ask, what was the most recent game that had the most profound character in it, and then work back from that to discover that. Mine would have been, I guess honestly, revisiting GTA. I fucking love Michael and Trevor. I thought they were great. I thought Franklin was great as well. Um, I mean, Red Dead Redemption 2, like there's so many characters in that are fantastic.
Yeah, Arthur Morgan was incredible in that game.
Arthur's, I mean, obviously main, and he's incredible. That's probably the most recent game I can think of where I was like so enthralled. I mean, the story was great. I thought the story was fantastic. It took a long time to get to the story, like to work your way through it with a bunch of like monotonous things. But that's also, I mean, that's those games, right? I mean, GTA does that. That's how they do. But yeah, I definitely say Arthur for sure. Because I found myself like at the very end, like rooting for him to like, to win. Spoiler. But I think it's fun enough to be spoiled. If you haven't played it by now, I mean, Jesus, bro. But yeah, definitely Arthur. And I think it was the you start off in the character development of that, you start off thinking that he's just this badass cowboy that doesn't give a shit about anything.
Mm-hmm.
And then through playing through the story, he like fights himself between this character of having to give a shit and then also maintaining this look of not giving a shit. And then at the very end, I think that not giving a shit overtakes his ability to see certain things. And then, that's what results in the ending, unfortunately, of everything. But, and an ending too, where you're like, holy shit. Yeah, I think definitely that. I mean, it's not like that's relatable, but like, I think in most video games, and the story in most video games, and the character development in most video games, it's like a progression from point A to point B. It's not point A, point B, point A, point B, point A, point B. And I think that's what makes him very different. And I think that's honestly what made the game feel like that character is actually a lot more human. Than any other video game character. Because, I mean, eventually, as a human being, you start doing things, and then you're going to question why you're doing them.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not going to be like in a typical video game where you go, whoa, should I really be doing this? Like some bullshit text or something that pops up. In that game, like, he changes personalities, like, halfway through the game for, like, a good period of time, and then comes back as, trying to be more rugged and rough and get through shit, and then shows little slivers of freaking the fuck out about stuff. But I mean, I think that's what made him the best. I think that's what honestly makes a good character, is while also being outlandish. I guess my first point, but while also being outlandish, also has the ability to kind of interconnect with reality as you're like playing it. So there's like some sliver of relatability to it, or the sense that they are in some fact thinking or acting out as a human, but they're still like doing crazy shit. So that would be my most recent one. I mean, what about for you?
I think you hit it pretty well on the head. I mean, Rockstar has done an incredible job, especially in Red Dead 2 and GTA 5, of building out these characters that, even though I don't relate to them, I've never been a cowboy, I've never been some rich fucking prick, I've never been a crazy dude that lives in a trailer and has been hung, or like anything crazy like that, right? Like I've never lived those lives, but they created these awesome characters that were interesting, and especially in GTA 5, where you were switching between the three, and the contrast is absolutely insane. Like, absolutely insane. He hadn't been hanged. He had the cut here. That's what I was thinking of, that tattoo. But anyway, not the point. But yeah, I think the way that they write games, Rockstar specifically, they do such a good job of, in this crazy outlandish world, still making these characters feel so real, even though it doesn't even make sense that they feel real. And I think that's really cool how they've done that. And like you were saying with Red Dead, I won't talk too much more about it, but I've never really like felt that transition for a character where you're like, oh yeah, he's a badass, this and that. And then once you feel like his story evolve, and you see the more human aspects of him come out, especially as he's. I mean, again, I'm gonna spoil it because at this point, if you haven't played it, I don't know what to tell you. But as he's dying, hearing and that change in his voice, because the voice actor was incredible, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And hearing how it affected him was very, very unique and something we don't see.
Wasn't the voice actor from Indiana?
I believe so.
Fellow Hoosier. Hell yeah.
That's right. But the other one that I'm sure nobody's going to be surprised by, God of War 2018.
Oh, yeah.
Kratos starts out as this hard-ass dad, I'm sure many of us our age know about because we grew up with that hard-ass dad.
It also seems like not a dumb character, but a dumbed down character. Like if you're just playing that, you've never played one of those games ever. You start it, you feel like, okay, this is going to be like, a beat 'em up. I'm going to be this big like Hulk style dude beating the shit out of stuff. But it goes way beyond that.
Yeah, and that game tackled things I never would have imagined, and the way you could see him change. I mean, a big thing, obviously, for me to make a good character, I like to see that change. I like to see character growth. That's something I enjoy and something that really will make a character stick out to me. While that's not necessarily everybody's opinion, like this is very much an opinion-based thing, but for me, I love that character growth, like watching Kratos change, and even the way he, is parenting his son throughout this crazy, insane adventure to get to the top of this mountain, right? And just that as you're playing, you can feel like he'll start talking more with his son while he's in the boat and just go into the next location, and he'll start telling more stories, and just watching that reaction and how he has been softened but still a absolute badass was really, really cool. But yeah, for me, I think those are Red Dead, GTA, and God of War are probably the three that stand out in my mind. I mean, I loved Spider-Man, but I think I loved that because it's Spider-Man, and Spider-Man's an established character, so I don't know if I would really even equate it to so much a video game character at that point, because I relate to him almost more
into media, I guess, or medium.
Right.
I mean, he's still really good. Like Miles Morales was really good.
Oh, he did a great job.
Felt for Miles. I felt like the game was sped up a bit.
Yeah.
But, it is what it is. Here's my question to you.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, go ahead. What was your point to finish?
No, go ahead. You good.
What's the worst video game character you've ever played? Like the worst?
Worst?
Yeah.
The worst.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Do you have one off the top of your head? And I'll think about it while you're rattling yours off.
Oh, man. I mean, I'm impartial to, Sonic, right? I mean,
yeah.
Clearly, if you've listened to the show, I mean, I fucking hate Sonic. Honestly, I think we get a lot of flack for this. I think Nathan Drake is not a great character. I think the games are fantastic in how they play. I think the story is good. And I think everyone around Nathan Drake is fantastic except for Nathan Drake.
Really? Wow.
I think he's
I get it.
The classic, like, let me just
he falls into that trope
together like a bootleg Indiana Jones with a G.I. Joe and a small soldier, and we'll like throw them together and then throw them in there.
Throw a touch of Ryan Reynolds humor in there, and you got Nathan Drake.
It's also like cringy, right? Like, because you're behind a fucking, some goddess statue that's half fallen down, and then they're shooting at him, and he's like, "Oh man, I'm only gonna be out of bullets soon." And it's like, why is that in there? Why do we have lines like that in the game in the middle of some action? But beyond the game design, I don't know. I think it's just cheesy and it's predictable stuff. about him, and I also, part of me also thinks that they could have went above and beyond with his lore and all about him and deeper into him and enveloping like a character that's like more serious, like a Tomb Raider, right? Like a Lara Croft. But they didn't. Yeah. So that's why I think, like, because the games are amazing. Like, the games are fantastic. Right. They're fun. They're beautiful to look at.
Oh yeah.
Incredible cutscenes, incredible live action scenes, incredible gameplay scenes that honestly got look like cutscenes. But I think they could have done a lot more with them, and I think I guess it's probably why I'd make him one of my top like worst characters, because he's so underutilized.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. That Birdo. What the fuck is Birdo?
Birdo. Yeah.
The fuck is that thing?
So for me, I think some of the worst characters I've really come across have been in like anime style games, which it's because they fall into this anime trope that a lot of things feel like they have to have.
Yeah.
I am specifically thinking of Scarlet Nexus right now. I really, really did not like some of the characters in that game. Like, not at all. They just were super, super corny and just hit this super, like, weird spot. Like, Kasane, the main character, I found her dry as hell. She had this weird, like, super sheltered backstory type of thing and was cold to everybody. And I don't find cold, even if they become, I can't think of the term right now, but these characters that, start out cold and become softer as the story goes on, I don't find that endearing. I actually find it kind of annoying, but it's not a deal breaker for me. I'm drawing a blank on the other character's name from Scarlet Nexus, but the guy that has the electric powers, he is a absolute dickhead the entire way through the entire fucking game. Even when you build your bond with this character to the very end, just still a fucking prick at the end. It sucks, and it was not enjoyable. I enjoyed the game for the gameplay and like some of the other characters, but those are a couple characters that were just kind of standoffish to me. I'm running into some of the same things in the Tales of Arise game that I've been playing. The Shion character, she's a little standoffish, and again, it's by design, and she's kind of softening up, but the way it starts out at the beginning, she's just kind of unbearable for a while. Which, again, it's just that weird anime trope thing, because there's so many tropes and so many characters feel like they have to fit into that situation, and sometimes it works, and sometimes I don't think it's executed super well. Outside of that, I'm trying to think of another one that really stands out to me as being particularly bad.
I've got a list here of the last
Do you?
decade. Yeah.
Where's the list come from? Just
agree.
So we have some reference here.
From thegamer.com.
Nice.
Okay, so number 10, Infinite from Sonic Forces 2017. Agreed.
I don't even know.
Number 9, Matthias from or Matthias, however people pronounce it, from Tomb Raider 2013.
Also, not super familiar.
Iden Versio from Star Wars Battlefront 2. Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yes. Awful.
Oh, I think I'm okay. You're gonna get to it. Never mind. Go ahead.
Jameson Locke.
Yeah.
From Halo 5 Guardians.
Oh. The bad part about that too is the actor they had for Locke is fantastic. Fantastic actor. I believe it's the same guy who played Luke Cage. And he does a good job, but boy, that character was dull as shit.
Yeah. Aiden Pierce from Watch Dogs 2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was what I was going to mention.
It just felt like you were just there. You're just moving.
He was just a wall.
I could have been a fucking mailbox, and I would have accomplished the same. Mama Murphy from Fallout 4 2015.
Okay. Yeah.
Devora from Mortal Kombat X. I mean, I'm not really looking for much story.
In a fighting game, yeah.
A lot of Mortal Kombat. Chronica from Mortal Kombat 11. Jake Conway, Ride to Hell Retribution 2013, and Jesse and Zofia Blachkovich in Wolfenstein Youngblood. It's an interesting list. I mean, I think there's a lot. There's a lot worse than that. I mean, that's kind of bullshit. I don't think that's the worst. I mean, that Jameson's fucking terrible, and also that foot soldier guard from Battlefront 2 is horrendous. The voice acting is terrible.
Yeah.
And my God, I wish that upon no one. In the chat, people were saying Ellie from Borderlands is just awful. Yeah.
Is Ellie's the catch a ride, or not that's Scooter. No, she's a catch a ride in one of the other games, I believe. I can't remember exactly. I believe she is a larger woman.
Yeah, Ellie's brutal. I mean,
Yeah, she was a very annoying character. But to some extent, I expect that from Borderlands, because most of the characters are supposed to be annoying by design. Especially a lot of the side characters.
King K. Rool.
Oh yeah, King K. Rool.
It's a pretty bad character. King
Yeah,
Boo. That's a bad character.
Yeah, but that's into that Mario
realm,
area. Yeah, so it's that kind of, I don't know, man. Like, I also am thinking of some more like great examples of characters. So Celeste, a game that didn't even have to have any development in it, but it's a game all about mental health, and throughout this adventure, as you climb the mountain again, she grows more comfortable with basically another side of herself type of thing, and becomes more comfortable with herself in general, which was story driven in a way I never expected, and that really built out this, I mean, a pixelated little character that you never would have imagined. I also think of a lot of the characters from Fire Emblem Three Houses, that they have all these different where you build your bond with them, and a lot of them are great. Some of them not so much. I mean, there's some, again, anime trope stuff going on there, but there's actually a lot of good character growth and good conversations that you can have with some of them. It's not like the most in-depth world building thing ever, but they're decent enough characters to be interesting and quirky enough in their own ways.
Duck Hunt Dog.
Does that even count?
So, someone put on the subreddit that I found, someone said the Catalyst for Mass Effect 3.
Okay. Mass Effect 3, the Catalyst. I'm trying to
say they just hated them, but I mean, I guess they could hate them from what they've done. I don't think that they're terrible. I don't know. I mean, I don't think has there been any games in the last year where characters come out where you're just like, holy shit. Like, this game is just, I mean, Ratchet and Clank is really good.
Ratchet and Clank was fantastic. I loved the characters in Ratchet and Clank.
I mean, are you super attached to them? Not really. I mean, it is a story that, I mean, they weren't limited really by tech per se. Right. But I mean, it's not like you're like super attached to Ratchet and Clank, because the story is also supposed to be like, the whole game's supposed to be super playable by like all ages, right?
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and I think they hit a good like middle spot where like you find the characters endearing and enjoyable, but there's no like crazy in-depth thing that you need to understand. There's not like this massive, growth that this character has to overcome in order to get to the end type of thing. Like it's just an enjoyable, like, feel good type of thing. Like that's, and they hit that on the head perfectly.
It's just a good time.
It's just a good time.
Awesome.
I mean, Kirby inherently is not exactly the most interesting character in the world either, but they're fun games.
No, he's not very, I mean, he had a show right back at you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
this is true. And that's the weird part too. Like, if you're considering just video game characters, do you you only like if you're looking at just the games, do you accept things from a different form of media? Do you accept that the world and the character is built out?
I mean, if we're talking video game characters, I would say that they would have to be conceptualized in video games first. Just like to your point with Spider-Man, it's like, yeah, Spider-Man's just an overall great character. I mean, you put him on a fucking birthday cake. That's a great character. You know, I mean, it's on a DQ ice cream cake. Like, there's no argument there. But like Master Chief, is he a not so great character? I don't think he's that great. I think he looks badass. I think in the games he's just kind of like.
That's a tough one. That's really tough. Just because,
I know.
Again, he's a not entirely silent protagonist, but he's quiet most of the time. He doesn't say much. He's running around fucking killing everything. And he has a weird obsession with an AI fucking chick. So.
Cortana, dude.
But yeah, I would make the argument that Chief is not really that great of a character. He's a cool character. He's a lot of fun, but he's not.
He was also. I mean, I guess the argument of saying if someone else made him, but made him like purple, right? Like, would people give a shit about him? But you can't really. I don't know. He was just cool at the time, right? I mean, he's a badass. He blows up a bunch of stuff on different, planets and shit across the universe. He's stuck in a big pickle. He doesn't fucking. This is that era like Marcus Phoenix, right? From Gears. Yeah. Like,
oh god, he's not a good character at all.
Character at all either. But I mean, like, it's kind of it was just a time where it's just like beefy gore that now finally translated graphically, right, on consoles. So that made sense. So I think that's what got him.
And what's actually kind of funny about that is Marcus Phoenix is not inherently a great character, but a lot of the other characters are actually pretty decent characters.
Yeah,
like some of the newer ones they've introduced, and even oh my god, Dom. Dom was actually a pretty good character too. He actually had like a story behind him and something going on, whereas Marcus Phoenix is just this grizzled. Like, he had a story too, don't get me wrong, but it wasn't interesting. It wasn't something that actually built him out to be a likable person. He's just a fucking badass.
Yeah.
Some other characters I thought of that were pretty bad, and but first I'll mention the one that got brought up in our comments here, Sly Cooper.
Okay.
How do you feel about Sly Cooper?
Don't fuck with Sly Cooper.
I know you're a big Sly Cooper fan.
No,
so.
I agree. Sly Cooper. Oh man, the Sly Cooper games are so good. Oh my god. It's got like a shiver. It's cold in my room. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's lacking some stuff, right? Like,
yeah,
it's stealthy. So first of all, the reason why I like Sly Cooper is it's like one of the only stealth games that I enjoy.
Yeah,
because I fucking hate stealth games. Like, I do so too. Boring. I think it's
not my style at all.
Get in there and like kill everybody and leave, which I know is not what you're supposed to do in a stealth game, but I just don't find that. I don't find that attractive. Being as quiet as possible. Yeah. And lurking around. So yeah, I guess so. I mean,
I also was thinking of like Spyro and Crash and
yeah. I mean, I think Sly's a little bit.
Yeah, he's a little bit different from
Spyro,
them for sure.
Because I guess
Spyro's snarky.
Sly falls into the Ratchet and Clank realm, I think, of characters in terms of how developed they are, how much they give back, I guess, from their personality. But someone just wrote, Sly got that thought of a cop to fall for him.
Boy, earns a seal of approval.
Oh, incredible. Oh, man.
We appreciate you, Half New Warrior on Twitch. This is great. I'm reading all your comments, I promise.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess like they're more in line with like Ratchet and Clank, and then Jack and Daxter would be more in line with Ratchet and Clank, and then like Crash Bandicoot, he's just fucking out there. He's like, I mean, that's like Mario, and then Spyro is like
They tried with like some of the Skylanders
Kirby,
things,
I guess.
but I would throw him in with like a Kirby, yeah. Like just
in terms of like how he is.
He's a little bit more like he's got some other stuff going on, but whatever. Like I don't know. They tried to build some of it out with like the Skylanders games. I watched my kids play a little bit of it. And I'm ooh, I don't like any of what's going on here. Like this is not great.
And we've brought this up numerous times, is how shitty Disney is at making games.
Oh, very bad.
Or selecting people to make games based on their characters, which their characters incredibly easy to attach to and are almost all personable.
Yeah.
Yet nothing comes about it. And we had Disney Infinity, which is the furthest thing you could get away from any sort of character development or feeling attached to a character.
That was a strange, weird sandbox.
Because if you're good at the animation side of stuff, you're good at making the movies, you're good at developing a character. Because in a movie, you only have 2 hours to develop a character.
Yeah.
Or less. Right? Typically less.
Mm-hmm.
Develop a character, develop a story, and resolve said story with character. All within like 120 minutes max, typically. So I mean, I'm still mind blown that they don't get into video games and don't succeed at video games in some capacity. Put some of the animation people on a video game team, with some video game developers, and I don't know. I think you can cause some ruckus.
I think I find this topic just so interesting because most of the most beloved characters of all time, I don't think are inherently good characters. They just exist and we love them. No, I just think it's super interesting to actually think about. Like, I mean, Chief is like one of the most beloved characters of all time type of thing, but not a great character. Cloud Strife, not exactly a great character.
No, we're just burning bridges. We're just Molotov cocktailing it right now. Love it.
I know there's more like growth and stuff for Cloud, but he's this pretty boy badass. At least, again, I've never played the full original game, so I've played the remake so far. Mm-hmm. And so where I'm at so far, like he's not really growing too much. He's kind of the same to some extent. But yeah, I don't know. It's super interesting to kind of think about these characters and all of these beloved IPs and really like what we're attached to the games mainly for gameplay or like the story that is built around these characters, but not so much the character themselves. They're just a part of it, and so they become loved as well. Half Noob Warrior is pointing out Geralt from The Witcher, which I'm a big fan of Geralt, but I've never played all the way through Witcher 3, but I watched the Netflix show and that was fucking awesome. So
what about Elizabeth?
I'll take your word for it.
What about Elizabeth from BioShock?
That's an interesting one.
I'm on a subreddit that is overrated. So everyone hails her as a great support character and a strong female in a video game, but all she does in the game is just follow Booker and throw him items. There's also a severely underdeveloped mechanic where she can spawn items from other universes to help out Booker, but in a short game like this, there's not enough times to use the mechanic, and in general, it's not executed that well. There's also a really weird mind-bending plot twist at the end that just takes everything you think about Elizabeth and destroys it and twists it.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair. I really like the BioShock games. I really enjoyed that weird fucking trip I went on in them. But yeah, she's not exactly a great character. There's not... I mean, the game could have existed just fine, probably without her.
I love the internet so much. Here's a good comment. Here's one for you. Shiva motherfucking Alamar. That tribal looking D-swallower can't hold a flashlight for shit. I hate her with the fiery intensity of 1,000 drag queens. The fuck? Ooh, Earthworm Jim. Yeah, highly overrated.
Huh?
Yeah, highly overrated.
Do people view him as a good character or just fun games?
He's like a beloved character. He's on like a pedestal, right? It's like people, oh my God. What's the game that was on Dreamcast, the whole series? Night something like that? I forget. Fuck. Kind of looks Sonic-esque in a lot of ways.
This is an Earthworm Jim game?
What? No.
Oh,
Earthworm
gotcha.
Jim is just like, he's just put on a pedestal for nostalgia purposes. I mean, nostalgia's a hell of a drug, right? But
absolutely. And it takes over video games so much.
Sure.
Half New Warrior also brought up the South Park games, but they have the show behind them too. And really, I don't foresee somebody like getting into one of the South Park games and loving it just because of the game itself, and falling in love with that IP. I feel like that's very much attached to the show and why that actually works, because it is. I mean, it's still I don't know how popular it still is, but at one point in time, it fucking ruled everything.
Agree.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is pretty interesting to sit down and talk about, and I really enjoy, like, and now that we've burned all of our bridges and pissed a lot of people off.
A bunch of people yelling at their car radios in the morning. What do you mean?
What do you mean that's not a good character?
Master Chief isn't a well-developed great character.
I'm sure we pissed a lot of people off in this.
Guy's on tough times. He's in Windows 11 commercials right now.
Yeah, because he's not out on the console right now.
Have you watched these? I mean, have you seen those?
Yeah, they're not good.
They're so bad. Like, what is? If you want me to download your OS, your operating system, which, by the way, is heavy into using the Microsoft Store for like gaming, which the Microsoft Store looks really good in Windows 11. I'll give them that. Am I going to use it? No. How many other people are either? But the commercials are so fucking confusing. Like, we got a lady working at her desk. She gets up and then she like spins a ribbon. Then she's in dunes, and then Warthog pulls up. Master Chief walks out of it, blows some shit up, and then he, that turns into what essentially is the wallpaper for Windows 11. You get a look at that for like half a second, and then it goes into people contemporary dancing. And then it goes Windows 11. It goes, it all starts now.
It's very bizarre.
What the hell happened? Well, what is that? And it's not like I'm intrigued. I need to check out Windows 11. It's like, what actually just happened? What took place in my TV?
That's almost as weird as some of the Switch commercials where they're like playing on a rooftop because that's what people do. Yeah. And like, or they're like sitting on a plane. I mean, that could happen, I guess, but how often are you going to look at the guy that's sleeping next to you and be like, hey man, you want to play? You want to play Mario Golf?
Or like
old
Zune commercials.
Yeah. Microsoft and their commercials are a little strange.
The greatest at marketing.
No, they are.
It's not.
Certainly are.
It's not great at marketing. Xbox has picked it up a bit. I mean,
I feel like Xbox
really
does a good
hate
job.
the hashtag X gonna give it to you. I don't.
It's not. No,
it's not great. It's a dad.
Would have been okay without that.
It's a dad joke of a hashtag. We get it. But
are there any other characters that you would like to bring up here that
no, I think I'm done.
Either good or bad, or
destroyed enough worlds here?
Yeah, burn enough bridges, pissed enough people off.
Yeah, I think we've done. I mean, Tingle is a fucking stupid character. I mean, he's funny.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
He's funny, but Tingle's stupid, right?
Very, very bad
he doesn't
character.
Speak. He just goes, oh.
He
That's true. That's true.
Oh yeah, he makes weird sounds, but that's also typical for Zelda games. I mean, Zelda's damn near the only one that can fucking talk in any of the Zelda games.
God, I know. Princess Peach talks too.
Yeah, this is true. Peach talks. Mario still just
not
saying much.
Nope.
Woohoo!
Cool. Well, guys, if you want to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, you can do so at Diggity Podcast. And also, you can check us on our YouTube channel, as well as our Twitch channel. We go live with the with the video version of the podcast. Good Lord. Every Thursday evening at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And the audio version of the podcast hits your beautiful ears early morning on Friday morning. So when you wake up on Friday, you can go, what could I listen to? I could learn about inflation. I could learn about personal finances. Nah, I'm going to listen to Jeff and Brody talk about how they hate Master Chief as a character. It's perfect, right? Or talk about, Sly Cooper getting the police officer with the absolute massive dumper, right? I mean, there you go. Like, it's just
dump truck.
Just a unit of a dump truck of an ass. Pixar mom.
I love it.
Oh my God. Anyways, yeah, guys, thanks so much for listening to the show. Thanks for watching the video version as well. Stay tuned to our YouTube channel. We're gonna have new content coming out soon in the next couple of weeks. You'll see some changes take place, and like Brody said, you can look forward to things like quick news videos where it's either myself or Brody talking about the news. Quick trailer reviews, me and Brody breaking down some trailers and taking a look at stuff, and also Brody and I just sitting back and talking about some rumors as they come up here and there as well. So stay tuned on YouTube for sure. And as always, thank you for listening to the audio version of the podcast. If you want to leave us a review, that would help out a lot. It helps spread the word about our podcast. And thank you to those who have left a review in the past. It means a lot. Until next